the game against Echo Fox that would have decided if we were 1-3 or 0-4 was really important.
Lorlo tries to go into the back line, but where's the team once again to follow? Just on the other side of the wall, Piglet doing what he can to deliver DPS from the outside, but Dardoch falls just as fast.
We just had 3 inhibs down, just like coming back from that.
Fox was on Liquid's side, and Liquid pushes back with one swift punch.
We did it! If we didn't come back from that, we would have crashed and burned.
이번 시즌은 그냥 뭔가 팀 게임을 하고 있다는 느낌이 들어서 그거 기분이 좋아요.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 is right around the corner, and currently Liquid is on match point after 2 strong wins over NRG Esports. No comebacks needed for them today as of yet. But given that it is match point for Team Liquid, do or die time for NRG, swapping sides yet again down the line. What does NRG need to do in order to come with a win? Skara.
I think they're depending a lot on the impact to be able to make great plays, like TP plays, great flank plays. But for him to be able to do that, his team needs to be able to execute the early game well. So if they're going to 1v2, which I think they should, because I don't think they can do the 2v2 matchup with the champs that they're picking, they need to make sure the first 8 minutes are clean. Like if the deficit's only 1 to 2K, they can maybe come back. But what they're giving up early game is like 2K, 4K, and then the lead just like snowball into mid-game team fights and they lose instantly.
Kobe?
I agree with Skara on the early game point, and I think that NRG can try and look to use Team Liquid's hubris against them again a little bit. We've seen it already a tiny bit from Dardoch going super deep. So ward defensively. Make sure that you ward defensively early, and early on in the game, before Team Liquid have been able to build up a significant lead, he is punishable. Maybe try and catch somebody out when they overextend.
All right, and finally?
I agree with these two guys, but I don't think there's much to do. I feel like at this point, either...
Come on, Dad, where's your optimism?
It's not here! Somewhere else. I don't know, man. The last 2 games were not even close, and Team Liquid still hasn't had to show us anything new. Get Phoenix off his ear. That's what I'm saying.
All right, get
but
Phoenix off his ear.
That's not going to work. He'll play something else.
Yeah, he'll play Orianna and be just as efficient, maybe. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's a tall order for NRG to come away with a win here, but we'll see if they can do it. Dardoch has made it to the playoffs in his first split in the NALCS, coming out with a strong performance in Game 2, but he shares that this series isn't about him.
I don't necessarily think it's a place for me to prove myself. I'd rather my team prove that we're the better team. I think I don't really care if I get the spotlight or if I don't. If I'm perceived to be the worst player on the planet, but my team's winning, it doesn't really matter to me.
Well, thankfully for him.
12 kills?
Yeah.
Last game?
Yeah. Well, AD Leeson.
Lag?
NBD? Lucky? Maybe? Yeah, he gets to prove that his team is definitely the better team, and he's awesome. So
does he really have to prove that still?
There are players that choke in playoffs, though, right? And there's always postseason form. There's players who step way the hell up, like all of TSM, and congratulations, that was better. And there's players who do really well and then also step up, like Team Liquid.
Yeah, and Team Liquid, they were struggling during the regular season to take their rookies and their scrim performance and transition that onto the stage, and it looks like they've almost completely done that. Dardoch is playing like he does in scrims, fast, loose, not afraid to buy damage, cooldown reduction, and make consistent plays constantly.
I mean, this is the best TL's looked all season.
Oh, yeah.
They have absolutely dominated every aspect of these last 2 games. And as NRG, I mean, it's like Jad was saying, right? It's like, what do you do? You know, it's something where you have to be able to keep a positive mindset to even have a chance.
Well, look at how fast these picks and bans go, though. These teams were absolutely on the same page for what they wanted to do. NRG, I think, knew Gragas was probably going to be the first pick on blue side, just like it was over in Game 1. This time around, they steal away the Janna, and it's now Impact who gets the Echo, who was like, you know what, it did so well against my Maokai last time. Let's change this around a little bit here. So NRG are making adaptations. There is no Azir ban. As Jat so eloquently said, yes, he would play something else instead, but the pick's still coming fast and furious. Matt, taking a page, I think this is actually probably support Karma, though. Taking a page from Adrian's book and being like, yeah, let's go shield max Karma and keep Piglet alive.
Yep, shield buffed on the R when you use the mantra on it.
As soon as you get level 6, that buff takes effect.
It's actually incredibly powerful. Karma, just as a support champion, is incredibly annoying, and if you are a player who realizes and becomes a little less selfish because you want to throw Qs out and just do the burst damage as Karma, if you start focusing on shielding your team, it's actually incredibly potent as a support player.
Yeah, and I mean, Nautilus for Lorlo, he's looked great out in all season. I think it's actually been his best champion throughout the season. So definitely something where he's going to be extremely comfortable.
And there's still a chance it's Nautilus for Matt. Not that I think it's one of his best champions, but Nautilus is pretty good into Janna. The hook comes out so fast that even if you get hit up with a tornado, you're still pulling that person in. They're still getting rooted. You can still use the targeted ultimate. So you can't really disengage the way Nuddles gets in on your team. We'll see where it ends up going after all. There's plenty of choices still to be made. Of course, a lot of flex picks for Liquid. But with a really fast champ select now, NRG have locked in their jungler and their AD carry. We know where almost all these champions are going.
Yeah, I really like this from NRG. I think this is really solid, saving last pick, counter pick, because of course, that Zed being locked in there.
Wow.
For Phoenix. So now GVM, he's going to have to think about what he wants to play into that. You can play Lissandra and a few other champions as well.
Liquid just played Blitz Chess with their pick and ban. I think they took like aggregate 45 seconds for their entire champion select.
Yeah. Up 2-0. Your move. Boom, boom.
Yeah, right? I mean, they basically pre-indicated all these moves, and turns out that, yeah, they were legitimate legal moves, and in they go. So, blind pick Zed in the mid lane for Phoenix. It is support Karma after all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yes, Nuddles could go into the bot lane, and Karma could be played top. Like, these are still flexes technically, but I'm pretty sure it is support Karma. And now NRG have to say, okay, well, mid lane pickup. Azir's up if you want it, but not into Zed.
GBM, though, he has had some tricky champions. Will it be the Zillion here? Keep people alive?
Are you surprised at all that TL did not want to have Azir, with the amount of success they've had so far?
Yeah, they didn't want it. It's strange. Ahri into Zed, this is definitely a pretty good one. Nope.
Nope.
Okay, wow. This is risky. Now, they do have a poke team. Jhin Varus is some poke. Like, let's be real here. That's some scary stuff to put in there. But you are opting into Varus versus Zed, and that is hard.
If you're a good enough Varus player, every time he ultimates, you know you can throw your Chain of Corruption immediately behind you and time it.
But I mean, the thing is, not only are you just opting into the Zed, you're opting into a Nautilus, to a Gragas, two champions which are going to be really happy to engage onto that Varus. If the Varus gets Flash Body Slam ulted in, or point and click, Nautilus ult, there's a lot of ways to actually catch this Varus. So definitely going to have to be played exceptionally well by GBM here.
Yeah, and not a lot of disengage on NRG. You just really have...
You have Janna.
You have the Janna.
You have Echo being scary, which he's not. Not really.
Yeah, you're going to have to rely a little bit on your AD carries to peel and use their slowing abilities.
Technically, if Impact plays perfectly, he can set up a 2.25 second stun for when the team does engage. He's like, just kidding, you're not fighting us anymore, but that is hard to do.
Yeah, and I mean, if they do catch someone out, they have Lisa Cocoon, they have the Jhin W to follow that up, they have Chain of Corruption Varus, so they do have, these CC options, and if they can chain that properly, they could hopefully, get some picks, chase people down, use things like the Jhin Ultimate to engage fights, but it's definitely going to be tough, and with how well TL's playing, we're going to have to see if they can pull it off.
Yeah. Maybe NRG threw a wrench into the works and they can keep the pacing a little bit different and make this game work. You guys at home, tweet @LOL Esports with hashtag TL win or hashtag NRG win for which team it's going to be. A poke comp coming out from NRG with the mid Varus last pick. TL, though, already up 2-0, looking to make their destiny the semifinals once again here in the North American LCS quarterfinals. And here we go with Game 3. Liquid can close it out and make today a series of multiple 3-0s the North American European LCS.
Yep, one more game for Vegas, for TL. Win or lose next weekend. If they win here, they will be going to Vegas for third, fourth, or that first, second, obviously the one they'd be looking for. But really big game.
Yeah, winner plays CLG.
Yep.
So Team Liquid, they haven't had to show too much here. This game, they actually opted into showing that Matt can play a little bit of support Karma.
Oh, and Piglet does see the team is coming. How good's the CC? Not very. No Flash Cocoon comes out of Moon.
Everybody spotted, so now we're going to be able to see Dardoch and Lorlo go to the top lane, get some lane swap wards down.
Yeah, and I mean, a Flash Cocoon there would have been pretty darn risky.
Sure.
Piglet, being a smart guy, hadn't leveled up any skills. He could have just leveled up his E, dashed away if he was really on the money.
And Cocoon kind of sucks for a level 1 ability in the jungle.
Kidding.
So
not exactly the best. He'd need like a super hard leash, which then screws up everything else in the map. So, yeah, wouldn't have been awesome. Doesn't go for the play after all. It's actually 10 gold earned by Liquid off of the Trinket Ward being killed. That was placed so aggressively by NRG. But otherwise, it is still a not quite blind lane swap game. There are plenty of aggressive wards from NRG in that southern jungle.
It's looking like it is going to be the 2v2, though, with Altec heading bot. Conquan already sitting down there. Janna Jhin is a pretty strong 2v2 lane. So, if this were the game that they could do it, this would be the champions that they would need.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I expect that NRG are saying this is a very powerful combination to have, extraordinarily powerful, that this is what they want. They want to see if they can test their meta, Altec versus Piglet. and seeing if they're able to actually come out with an advantage here, or at least even, because NRG have just been getting smashed in this lane all day.
Well, it's already a small disadvantage, though. NRG weren't quite sure what the startup was going to be, and Impact ended up being in the mid lane as they realized it was equal lanes, had to burn TP to get up there.
And Dardoch is immediately heading towards Elise. He's going after Moon. He's going to bully the other rookie here.
Right, he knows Elise started bot side because of the fact that Impact
he doesn't have Smite.
TP'd.
Oh, man.
Dardoch has Smite, steals a red buff, walks away with Swagger, and Conquan's losing health too.
Yeah, some good poke there onto Conquan. You know, Scar was talking about poke versus Janna, right? Karma's got lots of that.
This slows you down so much as Moon on the other side. Getting your red buff smited away from you, you no longer have those easy ganks with the long range auto attack for the fade away, but Dardoch is now, it's 2-0 up for TL. Moon is on the back foot. Not only did he not make plays in the first series, we're seeing now he's being put back even further. And this is just mentally taxing. This BO3, you've been losing the jungle matchup all day.
Oh, wow.
And Dardoch, he's looking for top. He's looking for Impact already.
With how much Impact has been pushing, and he's got no flash, he's got no health bars either. Dardoch looking for the play, will not land Body Slam. Impact will get the shield, will not get the stun though. The re-engage coming in. Body Slam up in 4 seconds. Auto by Lurlo roots him, but nothing else gained. No flash lost. And Impact can walk back into lane.
Yeah, good patient play there by Impact, able to read the situation, not blow his flash. You know, seeing the Gragas is level 2, he didn't have the Q to slow him down, and that kind of hurt him a fair bit actually there.
And you saw Dardoch feint a Body Slam flash, and it didn't connect, so he didn't get the cooldown refund. And unsurprisingly, yeah, nothing too scary happening. Moon actually, though, making a really smart play after seeing the failed gank, runs in a bot lane, goes to steal the red buff, so will equalize that. But again, Impact, tight timing.
Yeah, quick dodge there by Impact, and you know Dardoch was making his return, so that could have been a lot of trouble for Impact had that Q actually landed, because Body Slam flash still available.
Exactly, but that's going to be really good for Moon, who gets the red buff on the opposite side of the map here, and evens up the experience a little more, because you can see just in the CS values.
He can counter jungle more. He actually gets off of the Raptors early, looking to maybe make a play on Phoenix. GBM, though, playing pretty aggressively on that Dardoch, continuing to stay topside. This is a risky dive. Impact shield will come up soon.
TL likes to dive. They're going to wait it out.
He gets a double stun, though, which means he gets a couple of attacks down. The minion wave's still there. Impact losing a ton of health, and that is an easy pickup on first blood. Flash Cocoon, and he predicts it on a Phoenix, but there's just not enough damage left anymore.
Yeah, that was too aggressive. That must have been GBM just saying, we're going to go for this gank, and Moon, seeing the gank happen top, he's pressured, and that was just too much of an extension there to go after that Zed.
Yeah, now the trading in the bot lane, Conquan getting low.
Well, the root back on a Piglet. Empowered W comes in actually for plenty of damage on the root there. Locks him in place, but not too much gained.
Yeah, beautiful actually Flash Cocoon there from Moon reading it.
Sure.
But it doesn't result in anything. And such a well-executed dive in the top lane. They waited out the W coming down there from Echo, which was the key. You know, they didn't dive into the stun. The turret wasn't on them until afterwards. Perfectly played.
That's what I really like about Team Liquid is they're such an early game action team. Their mid game might be a little stagnant, but they love to get those early game advantages. And Dardoch will dive every time he sees the opportunity to do so. And I feel that Matt, Dardoch, and the rest of the team have gotten on the same page of how they execute these dives, and that one was just don't get over eager, wait it out, very patient, and it pays off. They don't panic in these situations. And we're talking about their first playoffs.
I mean, the worst part is, you know, Dardoch and Lurlo, neither of them even had to blow a summoner for it. Like, that was free, and it's got to be so frustrating for Impact having Dardoch come 3 times in a row, and nothing else is happening for your team on the rest of the map.
Right.
Moon equalized the red buff steal that happened 3 minutes ago. Yeah. That was the gain.
Yep.
They got back to equal.
They didn't even really cycle his full jungle, and you spent a lot of time trying to get a counter kill mid.
He burned a summoner mid, that was it.
Yeah, he had to blow his own for that as well, so it was pretty much just an even trade.
Dardoch spotted by some wards. Early Tracker's Knife for him. Knows that Moon was very, very recently up at the Wolf Camp because of how much health that Wolf Spirit had.
Man. Is this another dive here for TL? TL going for another dive.
They know Moon's here, though.
Oh, Lurlo backed off. He's looking for a TP.
GBM coming as well.
They know it's going to be a fight. Here's the TP from everybody now. Altec rooted under the turret. Plenty of damage onto him, but he can't quite kill off Piglet, who thankfully did not pull aggro. But the first kill comes through from Nautilus onto the backside, taking down Altec. Here comes the re-engage root onto Matt. GBM almost has the damage. Impact turned one back around onto Piglet. Matt still healing, trying to stay alive. Exhaust, the root is on. The fight still happens, and GBM refuses to take that kill. And yes, here comes Phoenix. He will pick off his fellow Korean, and into the side goes Impact, running away for dear life. ends up being in total 4 for 2 Liquid, winning that fight by a kill.
What a disaster. GBM cannot even finish off Matt. Matt healing with the W's, keeping the shields up, has the exhaust at the very end, and GBM didn't have a ward. He couldn't actually ward that last bush and get that final auto.
Yeah, we're seeing that more and more with Karmas, is they're baiting you in. They're using the R and the W to heal themselves. They exhaust you during it so they get the double heal and they stay alive, and then you're already overcommitted. Phoenix comes in. Lorlo, he's actually just going to walk up here, and after that root onto Altec, just pops him, flash E, but now GBM was already on his way down. They had spotted Dardoch with the Wolf Spirit, and now Matt throws it out, shields himself, runs away. GBM flashes forward, and then it's the Mantra. Oh, wait, no, it looks like it was just the regular W. You guys baited me.
Hey, I didn't say it.
Anyway, that's going to be Phoenix arriving just in time. So Matt, yeah, went through the 2 bushes, and he just ended up outplaying GBM there.
The 3 for 2 was that fight, +1 because of Matt living. And keep in mind that this game is very close, right? Like, we've definitely had some good things happen for Liquid. They're up 2 kills, but they're only up 800 gold with those 2 kills. The farm game is actually in advantage to NRG. If there's a game they can win, it's this one.
And I mean, impressive so far from Impact. He's actually, up on farm, even with all the attention that is.
Oh, Moon. Uh-oh, Moon. Wrong side of this turret. He's got nowhere to go. Repels up.
GBM's already there, though, so this would be...
Has no real targets, but buys enough time. Gets down in time that his team was able to get him away. And Moon lives.
Yeah. It's kind of a fight that TL don't want to continue because GBM had left mid lane. Phoenix continuing to farm. So,
typical.
This is how he gets the CS advantage, right?
Yep. Refuses to leave lane, gets a lot of gold, and is that late game insurance.
Something I'm just noticing now, Lolo maybe going for this. Oh, wow. But Conquan actually not taking exhaust, so no double exhaust against the Zed comp.
Yeah. That's really weird. Conquan does not need Ignite on Janna.
They obviously just were hoping to win lane that hard. That's the only thing that tells me, because I think that is
You're not
really
going to win lane that hard.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, what else could it be?
There's not a lot of self-healing. I mean,
exactly.
Dardoch has some with the passive, and
Matt
okay,
as well.
Piglet will have some with lifesteal, but...
Yeah, but that is really strange to me, and that's going to hurt them a lot as the game goes on. When you do not have an exhaust ready for that Zed, he's going to do work.
Yep, he will. Well, we'll see what they can do with this one. NRG, again, not that far behind. 1100, certainly not the best, but
this top lane
kind of par for the course for that team.
Top lane turret's taking a lot of damage from Lorlo and Matt, who's pounding on it here. Conquan clearing a ward on the bot side. And so, yeah, they know that it's going to be just a one-on-one in the top lane now, as we see Matt
back ahead.
I'm looking at Dardoch again. Guy's got 100% kill participation, just like he did last game up until the very last kill. But actually, he's just having an incredible day. Dardoch has been getting better and better, and now he's performing like he was in scrims. And now he's taking over games. But in this one, he's on Gragas. He's not exactly going to be the one carrying this game.
That's what you think. Full AP Gragas, baby.
Oh, man. Lich Bane next. Do it.
There's someone who'd do it. It would probably be
Lich
Dardoch.
Bane first.
Yes, of course. You can still do that with the Ether Wisp. Yep. Impact and Lorlo in a battle. Cocoon will land, I think, from Moon. I can't tell, but it's either way. Lorlo low on health with no flash, with no ult, with an easy dive, and who's going to get the kill? It'll be Impact. And on the other side, here comes the re-engage. Zed coming in. It's already a kill for Dardoch. Make that Conquan going down to Zed as well. 2 kills here for Liquid, 1 for NRG on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Dardoch immediately walked up. He saw the opportunity. He threw his barrel, and he got 2 members of NRG to bounce back, and that's how they got that double kill on the other side.
Yeah, and Conquan may have been wishing he had an exhaust there, but not sure it would have really helped too much.
Yeah.
And, they got absolutely deleted there, and the snowball starting a little bit, but NRG working on that top turret, looking to keep things close, as they're actually going to get the first turret of the game and keep gold pretty even. Also going to donate all that gold to Impact.
Yeah, they've also been focusing this top lane so much. You can see Impact has every single kill on NRG's side, and Moon has 100% kill participation on top of it. Both junglers are doing work. It's just Dardoch is going for these high-value ones where there's lots of people instead of just picking on the top lane. You see right here? Boom. Oh, what? Okay. Fail flashed in place. Okay.
Ouch. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's so demoralizing, too, because you lose at a really important summoner. You're already getting picked on. Your bot lane's already getting wrecked, and now you can't get away.
Yeah, I mean, look at the CS between Piglet and Altec here, and 40 CS up. And I mean, Zed is even up quite a lot of CS on Varus. So, I mean, Zed, it's going to be so scary for the Varus. Like, so scary. Even with the exhaust, I'm not sure he's going to be able to stay alive if he gets caught out in a 1v1.
It's going to be real tough. Yomu's Ghost Blade already done for Phoenix here as The Manamune stacks up for GBM on this Varus. Keep the builds going forward. Dardoch playing the wave clear game. This time both junglers have Tracker's Knife. No big surprises there. And now we look for the gank on the GBM. Phoenix comes in, pops the ult, he gets exhausted, jumps away. Has to cut out from the stun from Impact. GBM down to half. Phoenix presses R, goes right back into the lane.
Yeah.
But baits out the exhaust.
Exactly. That's kind of the whole thing you do with Zed and also with Sandra and lane if they have a cleanse. You go in, you make sure they blow that summoner spell, and then you ulti them next time, guaranteeing it's a kill, and you call your jungler for that little gap window when you know their summoner is enough. But everybody's converging on this mid lane now, but Piglet's going to be a little bit late.
Looking for the play without Piglet. Chains go in. Dardoch taking a whole ton of damage. That will be the kill. First one picked up. A little in the front side. Big shield and stun comes out from Impact. He's staying alive. Conquan to keep the team afloat. Moon very low, ignited, healed and shielded. He's going to stay alive. 1 for 0 so far for NRG. More poke coming through into the ulti. What can they pick off? Actually nothing. Some minions. 4 shots used.
Conquan pretty low, but a great pick there from NRG. And I mean, Dardoch, you know, he had the flash ult up. He was looking for an engage, and they say no. They initiate it. They catch him in the CC and delete him before he's able to do anything. I mean, we have to remember, he doesn't have tanked yet.
Yeah, and we heard it in the last rollout where Piglet's like, don't fight without me, don't fight without me. Well, they're fighting without him. They walk too far forward, and Piglet doesn't even get a piece of this fight until the end, and now everybody's just backing off from TL. They have the disengage from Conquan, and then Moon just barely gets away there.
Good poke by GBM, good setup by him as well.
Yep.
Piglet, yeah, just
Let's not show that again.
Securing that CS.
Yeah.
Clear the wave.
One of the best uses of it. It's basically true shot barrage. Now we are seeing the cooldown focus build from Altec, which is actually still a choice. We see some players still go Infinity Edge first on Jhin, which is more combat focused. That guaranteed 4th shot crit, a lot of damage. But this way he's going to have really low cooldowns, and he can constantly go for pokes, go for these, 1400 range pickoffs and setups for his team. And I think it makes a lot of sense in this game specifically.
Yeah.
Go for the Essence Reaper build.
Yep. I mean, we're seeing some pretty massive XP disparities across the board. You see Piglet 2 levels up on Altec. On the other side, Impact was just 2 levels up on Lolo. Lolo just now hitting 8.
Yeah, but Impact's not even far from 10. He's like 9.8 right now, so that's going to be one of the big carries. It is, sadly, or maybe positively, a tank Echo build, though. He's going Cowl into Sunfire Cape, so not one of those hardcore AP carries.
Once again, we're seeing this TL on the map, playing the macro game better. They take the top tier 1. Bottom tier 1 is getting sieged a little bit here, but they send their TP laner to that part, and now they're taking over the top side jungle. So they know that they can TP in, make it a 5-on-3, because NRG, they just end up giving up the bottom lane turret here to that squad.
Morlo taking a little bit of damage, but the turret not going down just yet as Altec and Conquan make some progress down there. Herald picked up cleanly, though. Dardoch's going to be fine with that one. Continuing to scale up as best that he can. We'll see what his next item ends up being. Will it be a Death Cap? Will it be a Chain Vest? Or a Giant Spell?
I feel like every time I see Riptail getting taken now, I'm just having deja vu. TL has been doing this all day.
Yep.
I don't think NRG has gotten a single one.
Yeah. Well, they are going to get their, I think, actually first dragon of the series here in Game 3. I'm actually pretty sure that's the case here for these guys. Finally one picked up as they were the ones controlling the bot side of the map. And keep in mind, bot outer, again, super, super low. They can't pick that up too.
I remember talking with Loco Doco once about Rift Herald, where nobody was taking it at first. When it came out, everybody was like, well, I want to avoid that objective. I don't really want it. I don't really want to use the buff and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm going to force my team to do it because eventually it's going to be good. So we want to be ahead of the curve and realize when it's a good time to take it and when it isn't, how many people and stuff, right? So TL is one of the squads that is prepared to contest it, and it's something that also happens in Korea all the time. You pick it up, you're easier to dive with, you're able to actually have that increased movement speed, which I think is one of the best parts about it, is just having this jungler who's zooming around the map and able to chase people down lane.
Yeah, one of the
ways make the plays.
Most interesting things about it is if you don't have safe wave clear and you actually get aggro from those minions, they do a lot of damage even just to your champion yourself, and that can be something that you underestimate.
Definitely can be. Dardoch clearing away more of the jungle. The team goes back to the bot side of the map. The outer turret never did go down. It's only at a scarce 373 health, that bot lane outer turret on Liquid's side of the map. It never got pushed by NRG. And I think it was honestly a missed opportunity. They had gone for damage onto Lorlo and a dragon instead of getting that gold, which means that team's still down 4,000. Mid lane pressure comes in. Look at the chain CC. Not a chance for Piglet. Way too far up on his own. Matt could not save him.
Yeah, Matt had nothing for that. Piglet would have had to flash and save himself there, so that one's on Piggy.
Great stuff from NRG, though. This is what we talked about. They need to have the chain CC and pushing an objective off it. This is exactly what they need. If they can pick up this mid turret, maybe pick up the bottom turret pretty soon here as well, as you pointed out, very low HP, they could be right back in this.
Yeah. It's very close still. 2,000 gold. This is the closest this series has been in a single game.
Yeah. Especially at this time of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And let's talk about why it's actually working for NRG finally. We said at the beginning of the day, if Moon can match what Dardoch does, NRG have a chance. 100% kill participation. He got Impact 3 kills in the top lane. He helped get the pick off on Dardoch earlier. He helped get the pick off on Piglet here. Oh, goodbye.
Pick off Phoenix.
Goodbye, GBM.
Yeah, he even used Exhaust, and he used his flash previously. He knew that the flash was down from the flash chain of corruption. So even if he flashed away, Phoenix was going to go for the chase with a flash as well.
You see the weakness of that matchup as it goes on later. The extra damage output from Phoenix, pretty nice. He was able to burn QSS to get away from the Exhaust, by the way. Part of why that kill even worked in the first place, second on QSS. But now the re-engage on mid lane. The outer turret's going to take plenty of damage here.
When the Zed gets the QSS for you.
Yep. Oh,
right. Impact with the stun.
Ooh, plenty of damage in from the stun. Dardoch low on health, looking for a bit more to do, and he won't go down just yet. Matt was able to provide some shields, and Piglet, yeah, the damage on the Moon, snipping on top of a flower, though, losing more health. Impact slow. He's back to safety, flashes out. And now Phoenix is in, saying, hi, Impact. Welcome to NA. And, oh, he's going to get away for this one. A flash comes in. Ulti's chained up. Conquan goes down. Impact might be next. He's going to get slowed down by Gragas. The Wolves helping as well. The shield, the stun, it's not enough anyway. Dardoch gets the kill. A shutdown comes through. Whew, 3 in a row now. Liquid far ahead.
Yeah, TL just firing back there, going very aggressive, turning the fight around, Piglet going forward, Lorlo getting in there with the flash hook, just doing great stuff. And I mean, even on the back end, Dardoch with a great ult to help clean things up.
Yeah, and this was started by NRG. You can see the TP from the backside, 3 men collapsing, and they're not going to have Varus at any point in this fight. So they wanted to hit quickly and swiftly, and NRG get 4 members here, but they already have to back off. And then Impact gets taken down. He's forced to ultimate out, or else he would have died here after getting that hook. Almost kills Piglet as well.
Yeah. But this is also a 5v4. Keep in mind, Varus has never been in this fight yet. Phoenix walked in much, much faster than GBM ever did, and that seemed a bit too aggressive. NRG, honestly butting off a lot more than they can chew at many parts in this series.
I think TL's skirmishing is just way more on point than NRG's. And NRG, they're not identifying the right scenarios to do so. That was one where it was just too risky. You already had your Varus die.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they were looking for was just to get a quick pick on Dardoch and then get out of there, but it just didn't really work out. It looked like Moon stacked his cocoon with Impact Stun, and then so the Jhin root did follow it up, but they didn't have quite enough CC to actually take him out.
It's really hard to kill Dardoch as well with the members that they had, because he already has 2 magic resist items and Mercury, so that's big. It stalls it, it makes it so that he's not going to fall down. So even with the stun, the primarily magic damage, Echo and Elise were not able to chip through him at all, and you saw Dardoch was perfectly healthy by the end of it as well.
Yeah, Mercury Tread, Spectre's Cowl in, now going for the Iceborne Gauntlet so he can, stack up that cooldown reduction. Dardoch's going to be a, very suitable tank DPS hybrid here, and in fact, he's now joining Phoenix in the bot side of the map, saying, you guys aren't defending the Zed split push. Well, just kill your turret with no response at all.
And I mean, with the mid and AD getting this far ahead from TL, it almost doesn't matter that the Impact is way up on Lorlo. Lorlo is going to be completely serviceable in these fights. He's playing Nautilus, he's building tanky, he's going to contribute. And, the same just can't be said for Altec and GBM. They need items to really have the same impact.
They're just not going to have it. This is quickly falling away now. NRG had gotten some moments of map control. They got that first dragon, good for them. They've found some kills and some picks, but a 4-kill lead, a turret lead, a 5,000 gold lead as well. Yet again, 20 minutes in, huge lead for Liquid.
I'm just
whole team effort.
Looking around and once again focusing on Dardoch here. He runs Inspire in his, I believe it's Inspire or Insight. The Summoner Spell cooldown reduction, Mastery, Insight. And he also just stacks Summoner Spell reduction. So he actually has a 210-second flash. You can get it even lower. You can get it down to 3 minutes with 180 seconds if he went Ionian Boots of Lucidity. But it just shows how early on he gets Distortion on Gragas. Just shows he's looking for the body slam flash plays. TL closes games out by continuing to make plays, and I think this is better because when we saw them at the beginning of the split when they were coming in with these new rookies, it was all about just team fight 5v5 over and over and over again, and now it's no. we have these skirmishes that we win. We start them off very quickly. It's almost like a flash of lightning for TL.
Right, yeah, very aggressive style with short cooldowns all around, and it's so far been mostly positive for Liquid here, looking to make a 3-0 run through their quarterfinal. And they may meet their destiny of facing Counter Logic Gaming in the semis next week.
And making sure that they're going to go to Vegas as well for TL.
Sure.
And I mean, if you're sitting there watching this series as CLG, you've got to be a little bit nervous about a TL that looks this good.
Yeah, I agree. TL, I got to talk with Matcom about TL at one point, and he was saying they are an extremely strong team, and they were not showing exactly what they had up their sleeve just yet. So TL's a squad that everybody's been saying they're super good. They're super good. Their scrims have been on point, and we're seeing that more and more as they become more comfortable.
It reminds me of an interview from earlier in the season that Piglet gave, where he said, I know if we can make it to playoffs, we will come together as a team, and we will be the best team. And he was saying they could do it. And here, they're looking like,
yeah, it's happening right now.
They found all the parts.
Yeah, they just needed the time, apparently.
I mean, they had to fit the jigsaw puzzle together. Piglet and Phoenix never changed playstyles. Those two were the same. Those are the two remaining players, of course, right?
Yeah.
And arguably, they were the two best players coming into the season. I think most would say that. And it was figuring out, where does Matt fit in? Well, Matt fits in playing supportive supports, right? The backline shielders to help Piglet do what Piglet wants to do.
Exactly. He doesn't need to engage. He was playing a whole bunch of Alistar at the start, remember? So he doesn't have to be that engaged. He can allow Lorlo to do that, who had to transition to tanky members when he was playing a lot of Fior, a lot of Riven in solo queue. And then Dardoch, well, Dardoch was on a team with Youngbin, who I talked to Dardoch, he was saying, yeah, I loved Youngbin because he would give me every blue and be like, I don't need it, you take it, because he knew who the carry was. So Dardoch's been kind of finding that balance of being the assist carry, being the carry on the team, and setting his team up, who has Phoenix and Piglet on it. So they become a triple threat team, but he still has to give resources to Phoenix, who loves to CS, who loves to have blue buff and all these other things that Dardoch was used to having on his last team.
Sure. But now it's been pretty solid. Dardoch's doing well, many different styles. The tank this time around doing just fine on Gragas, 3-1 and 5. Yeah, okay, he's one of the deaths, but still pretty solid for him.
One of the 5.
Yeah. 20% of the deaths. What a scumbag.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't too long ago that, TL was only up about 2,000 gold, and the gold lead's starting to balloon over the last 5 so minutes. And, NRG, they're going to have to try to make something happen here. When you do play these kind of double AD comps as poke comps, you really can't fall too far behind or it starts to crumble very, very quickly.
You don't want to stall out.
Yeah.
As the map widens up, Zed just finds 1v1s on you. You need these setups with the word control. And actually, they found the ulti onto Matt. Cocoon from the wings as well. That will be a pickoff, and finally, they find the way. And good job by Moon coming around the wings to help secure that one. But this is now a lead for NRG. They've only used one ultimate for that play. Their mini wave is coming in from the mid lane right now. 10 seconds so they can start hitting this turret.
Yep, they've got to get more here. Great pick. They know they need to push the advantage, though. They need to get turrets. They need to close the gold lead. Here comes Dardoch on the side, though.
Yeah, they might have to see this. Piglet's already chunked down to half HP, and he risks getting dove on. This turret's most likely going to go down for NRG here.
They're running out of minion waves, though. It's going to stick at about 1/3. More poke coming through, but that is a tanky Dardoch. Lorlo's still in the bot lane, walking over now from the river, actually going for the TP flank. This is the play. Matt's coming in. This is the battle that takes everything.
Might be a little too late, though. Lorlo, he's looking for the right opportunity. And Impact's going to body block the hook path.
Yeah, the rest of his team was just too far behind. A good thought as Matt was coming back up, but the rest of the team just wasn't fast enough to catch up to Lorlo, and they pulled the trigger a little too early.
Yeah, well, good disengage there. Plenty of move speed in these guys. Gianna helping with that one as well, as long as she's in front. Another route finds Dardoch. Cocoon's going to chain as well. The stun in from Impact, and here comes the curtain call. Who's it going to be for? Nobody. Into the back lane goes Phoenix. QS has his exhaust to make Deathmark do more damage, but it won't pick off Conquan.
Piglet?
They're re-engaged towards Piglet. This is a low-health Lucian, but Impact's got to ult out himself. Tanks in the Nautilus ulti, revealed by a blue trinket, but there's no real follow-up. Gets his shield, stays alive. Nothing picked up in that one.
Yeah, but Conquan low, looking like he may have to back, and TL cheating towards Baron, maybe going to look to try to get some vision topside jungle.
He's still going to get it though with a smite, so Dardoch picks up the red buff, and he's still going to walk forward, he's still going to keep going. He still has Body Slam Flash.
He's like full health. Body Slam forces the flash from Altec. Doesn't, again, Dardoch I think 3 times in a row has just not gone for the flash, just letting himself bait the cooldowns.
Yeah, I think he just wants it to be guaranteed. Get the flash, go for the Body Slam Flash on someone who cannot. Avoid it at all, and they go topside after chunking them out. They control the jungle, and they can push tier 2 here, and perhaps look to bait Baron later.
Yeah, and Impact hasn't backed just yet, so he can't TP in.
Recall's going to finish now. As far as Ward's concerned for a flank, there really aren't any, so he can't get behind the lines of TL. Minions and such cleared away, but turret score-wise, it hasn't gotten much better for NRG. They're still at that same 2 turrets they had before. They got nothing off that one pick as far as actual concrete advantages as they traded back their own mid turret for it. Game resets. Next Dragon in a minute and a half. Really no major reason to take either one unless you want that late game insurance, but I mean, that is 24 minutes from now.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the item discrepancies across the board. If you look at the AD carries, you look at the items there, you know, Altec has 2 items. He's not even working on anything else right now. He's up about 3,000 gold over Altec. So Piglet almost has his Bloodthirster done. He has the QSS as well. And I mean, the mid lane advantage is basically just as bad.
Yeah. Almost 2,000 gold in the mid lane. And that 3,000 gold AD carry is actually insane. Because you look over at Matt and Conquan, and they're actually only 400 gold apart. So that's pretty much the difference between the turrets and some of those assists. But in the mid lane, it's just those kills. It's not that global gold. It's those kills that have been going over to Phoenix. And that's CS for Piglet.
I want to see which way Concon goes with this. He can go into a Banner of Command or into Frostqueen's Claim with his next item. The items go into either one, and it kind of tells me which way he's going to go. Right? Is he trying to split the map open more with his silent split push off Banner, or is he trying to make these 5-on-5s, you know, siege then pick someone off plays? And the item he chooses here is actually pretty relevant for that.
Yeah, we're actually seeing less and less Frost Queen's Claim. It's been nerfed multiple times, and everybody's figuring out that those Watcher items in professional play are so good. We're seeing more Eye of the Oasis, Eye of the Watcher for those 4 wards instead of the 3 in the Sightstone.
And that's what Matt's been going for all these games, is Eye of the Watchers every single time into basically a mix of Locket and not Mercurial Scimitar. The one that builds from Chalice and keeps other people alive. Mikhail's Crucible, that's the one.
Yep, and I mean, the item is very stat efficient. You get the extra ward. Even in solo queue, it's honestly very, very good.
Yeah, I do it too. Oh,
top lane.
Geez.
Oh
Goodbye.
my god.
Goodbye. Altec's got no... Oh no, he's got QSS. He stays alive for now. The disengage comes through. Phoenix still gets the kill, but he will trade back!
Moon can't get
They
to him.
can't get the damage. Are you
kidding?
me? Oh, that is a heartbreaker. Phoenix gets revealed. GBM's coming.
Well, GBM is still chasing him, and on the bot side of the map, they might be able to get something off of this. What's Phoenix going to do, though?
The flash key's not going to land. That's going to get him. That's going to get him. Shutdown comes through. No assist coming through, but it's still shut down for the global gold to his team. But meanwhile, the rest of the map has been getting pushed.
Yeah, mid-turret.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 turrets now for Liquid, I think.
God, Conquan not having the exhaust. He uses the ignite, but I mean, doesn't do anything there. He's not able to keep his AD carry alive. In a 1v3, he's able to kill off the AD carry, get out of there, force the other mid laner's flash. He gets about 4 summoners, still gets the kill.
Yeah, Altec walks up. Phoenix gets a little bit of aggro, but then Altec walks out because he needs to get to Conquan. Conquan disengages him, but there's still, even if Altec had run back up towards the turret, that's where the Zed Shadow was. So Phoenix would have picked him up pretty much regardless of all that.
Yeah, cutting towards Moon, definitely correct. Oof. And then, yeah, good pickup there. GBM, the flash Q is still dodged, but it's okay. We look back at the mid lane. Curtain Call comes in. They're going to look for the slows. Yeah, I guess you're damaging Piglet, but he's got the shield on. And that snipe towards Lorlo means basically nothing. Most of the damage from Curtain Call is off the sort of the amplification from missing health, so hitting a whole health tank is like 80 damage per shot, and it means nothing.
Yeah, one of the best things to do with Curtain Call is trade very heavily in lane, and then back off, and then you have unanswerable damage on missing HP targets.
Yep. And even if you miss, you wave clear.
Yep. More completed items across the board. Bloodthirster coming in. Mercurial Scimitar is done as well. So Piglet and Phoenix are just absolutely massive. And, you know, GBM tried to string together something working on his last Whisper.
Yeah. For that armor penetration, and Phoenix, he already got a Black Cleaver for himself because this is primarily an attack damage composition, and you can see that Moon, Frozen Heart, we see multiple 3 at this point armor items for impact. You want that Black Cleaver, and Phoenix is being a bit of a team player here. NRG are actually waiting for a face check, but Liquid are just doing the Baron.
Dardak is losing some health because of this, as well as resistances from that slow burn from Baron Nashor. Poke comes through, and they realize what's going on, and that will be TL disengaging. But Dardak and Matt both low on health now, so not the best fight for Liquid. With those health bars, they walk away.
And Phoenix is going to continue to push top, and Lorlo looks like he's just going to back after pushing out that wave to the bot side, so that's missed CS for NRG. It's just getting worse and worse. 100 CS advantage here for Piglet over Altec.
Yeah, Phoenix was lying in wait. They're hoping someone would come and try to greedily pick up that CS, but no one's going to be as foolish as that just yet. So he will shove it into the turret, and that turret getting very low from the minions.
I've seen this before. Altec, the Shadow's on, does not have any pre-existing damage, so Phoenix doesn't get rooted here, but the wave clear at least happens. Cocoon hits Dardoch, no follow-up.
I'm actually surprised Dardoch didn't smite the Krugs for the heavy hands buff and then just went after that turret.
Yeah. What, 200 something true damage after that point?
Could have given it the smackdown there.
Might have even killed it off. Looks for the play once again on the top side. Phoenix is now joined by his compatriots. Only Lorlo isn't around, but that's fine for them.
Yeah, Lorlo and Impact are fighting each other. They're actually doing no damage to each other, even though the fight's been going on for 20 seconds now.
And that's advantage Team Liquid, of course, because the 4-on-4 without Impact is fine for them.
Yeah, Impact 2 levels up, so he actually has a large part of this advantage. And coming into this game, we knew that Impact over Lorlo was going to be something that NRG would have to leverage, but it hasn't been enough compared to the other deficits that NRG have on the map against TL.
And you can see that even though Impact is ahead, it's a tank versus tank matchup, and Lorlo is withstanding. It just does not matter.
Yeah, I mean, Echo is a playmaker, but he's not like a full damage build. This is not a full AP Echo that's going to one-shot the backline, right? This is someone who's going to set up or follow up for your team. And yes, he has the advantage, but it's not enough when there's not the follow-up from the rest of his team.
Yeah, and it was Banner of Command, by the way, touching back on it.
All right, cool. And he actually went for the late Eye of the Watchers as well, so he has those wards up, is going for the banner to get the side lane control there somewhat. But the thing is, this team already has a slow, methodical side wave control. That's called Impact winning a side lane. So I'm not sure if they can get much more to really happen with that item, but they're certainly going to try to make these side lanes work. And if they can find these 5-on-4s, I mean, that is what NRG has gotten, is they've found these flash engages off of someone holding the side lane. So maybe this can exist. Blue Trinket comes down as Liquid once again start up on Baron Nashor.
Lorlo's looking for the TP play. There it is on the back side.
In from Impact as well. Moon taking damage from Dardoch. Here's the partial engage. They get the root on towards Phoenix, who QS as it goes in, and Piglet gets the kill. Conquan's down. Root fails to do much. The anchor toss onto Altec. This could be the game-winning fight. A double kill for Piglet. They're looking for more GBM on the wrong side of this one. Huge damage comes out. A triple for Piglet. They're going to want more. Moon is running away. Puts the shield. Impact in the middle of the team. Just doesn't do any damage. Another kill comes through. The shutdown in. A quadra for Piglet. This could be the series-winning fight. 15-7.
Both Dardoch and Piglet have gotten 4 kills, 2 quadras here for this team, and they might be top 4 after this.
And they're going to go for the slower burn in this one, though, as Phoenix pushes the top side. They will go for the play on towards Baron. This is going to be slow until someone else comes in and deals the damage. Piglet joining them now. Yeah, Baron, no contest. Top lane still being pushed in by the Zed. The Liquid will take their time with this game.
And Piglet, finally all that farm pays off. He gets the quadra, his first 4 kills of the game. That gold lead really showing through in the fight, just pumping out so much damage, and now with a 13,000 gold lead, Baron buff active, how do you stop TL?
I don't understand.
It's very difficult. Right here, you're going to see all of TL actually just ignore Impact. Screw that. Go after what Lorlo is focusing, and they have the dive. So they get in onto the poke composition on the sieging composition of NRG, and they get to that backline. Conquan's down. Peel is down. Now you get Altec, and then they just run GBM across the side here. So the fact that TL just ignored Impact and made it completely worth nothing that he had jumped in with the TP. Lorlo seemed to be of more value, despite Lorlo being behind Impact in terms of CS and gold.
Yeah, Piglet pretty far up here in the mid lane with Lorlo, but here comes Curtain Call.
Well,
okay.
Is it going to hurt that Nautilus?
Looks like not very much. Piglet getting down to half, but he's got double lifesteal items, so it's really not that big of a concern for him. A few too many shots wasted on Lorlo, the big tank in the front line.
What I've noticed is NRG, they do not respond well to split push at all. It's been TL just doing it over and over and over again, whether it's some Phoenix clearing a side wave, Piglet clearing a side wave. They don't respond well to it. And Dardoch...
Oh, goodbye. Altec is gone immediately. What a great play by Dardoch. Finally goes in for the flash. Moon will repel away from this. GBM being chased down to the back line.
Oh,
double
gets
kill.
him.
Somehow, yeah, it does go down. Phoenix finds 1. That's 3 kills already. Moon and Impact, the last remaining member, is Piglet under the Nexus turrets. Find this
triple.
Looking for a second quadra. Has more to remind him to try to keep Impact in line. It gets the quadra kill after all. Dies the fountain, but who even cares? That's going to be certainly the game. It's going to be the 3-0 in the quarterfinals. It's going to be Liquid cementing their spot in the top 4.
What a way to end it. Piglet with the back-to-back quadra kills. Could you want anything else from this bot lane? I mean, just playing fantastically throughout the entire series. TL dominated start to end.
Yeah, Piglet went from 0 to 8 real quick there in the span of 2 minutes. TL, they were going to secure their spot going to Vegas here, 3-0 over NRG. Just incredible performance.
Absolutely stellar. Liquid, from start to finish, were the better team. NRG tried. They switched some comps around. They switched some champions around. They tried to steal the Janna away from Matt. It just didn't matter. Liquid took care of business.
Yeah, and you can see on their faces that's kind of what this was. Not a whole lot of celebration here for this squad. It's pretty much, all right, we were able to take what we practiced and put it onto the stage. And it just seems more like relief, taking care of business, like you said.
When you look this good in a series, you've got to be looking forward. You know, they've got to be thinking, what about next week? You know, what about the weeks after that? This is a team that is not going to be content with just the quarterfinals.
And this is the great thing as well, is I think they're really happy about how yesterday went. With the TSM upset over C9, they don't have to play Immortals. They get to play CLG, which honestly is an easier road into the finals for them, for that maybe fated showdown with Immortals if they don't get too far ahead of themselves. But Liquid CLG, yes, that is going to be a fun one in the semis next weekend.
Yeah, they beat CLG in week 8 pretty handily. They only gave 4 kills up to that CLG squad, and it was a fairly short game too, where Dardoch brought out the Lee Sin once again. And I do want to talk about Dardoch more, because we've seen Phoenix and Piglet, they have been known quantities on this team to be very good when unlocked, and Dardoch as a rookie has been having an amazing impact on this TL squad.
Yeah. I mean, Dardoch's just equipped with bump keys here, man. Piglet and Phoenix are unlocked every single game here for this one. This was the first game, actually, that Phoenix didn't top the damage charts, but it was Piglet instead. That was a big surprise. The Lucian gets far ahead and does incredibly well for himself. But Liquid had all the answers, right? They were never hemming and hawing and delaying in champ select. They knew what their first pick wanted to be. They got the Gragas. That's fine. That's happy for them. You know, in both these cases, the Lee Sin comes out super dominant. The Lucian comes out. The Zed blind pick, super dominant again. Every single time, they knew what to do. Every single game, full confidence, and they crushed it.
And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with Phoenix. 2 Azir games, you know, he's slow playing it. We're talking about doesn't really have to get involved. He's just kind of farming it out. And then he comes out on the Zed, 6-1-8. Really dominant scoreline. Was the catalyst to a lot of those teamfight victories, to a lot of the turrets going down as well with these picks he was getting.
And he didn't even have to show that either. He could have just played another Azir game. It was completely available to him. And I want to talk a little bit about the NRG side now, because of course they're not going to be moving on at this point. They had, you know, a very rough series here, and it just looked like they were kind of flailing the entire time, and there wasn't really any adjustment they could have made in pick and ban or really on the fly, because those were macro things, and that was synergy is what was ending up falling apart there, and TL were running them around the map. And they were focusing that bot lane too. That bot lane got shut down really hard. Altec was not able to contribute at all in this series.
No, this is a game I don't think you can blame coaching staff on or even prep for. This was a more skilled team made better choices throughout the entire series. Just day in, day out, Liquid crushing victories in the duo lane, constant leads for Piglet, level, turret, CS, you name it. Dardoch was just continually superior the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how Impact would have to, you know, come up big to be able to actually, you know, get a win for NRG here, and he did. In the game 2, game 3, he actually had significant advantages, but it just didn't matter. Yeah. The rest of the team was not able to capitalize on that. They weren't able to get enough out of his advantages.
Yeah, and this game pretty much went how you would have expected if you had just sat there and looked at the lane matchups and how they go. And even what Piglet said in his sound on tape that we watched earlier, where he was like, okay, well, I think the mid lane is even, but Dardoch is better than Moon, so now it's Phoenix's lane.
Yeah, and just the control was super good. Liquid, with a much slower game this time, took 37 minutes, but eventually they went in for a Baron bait to close the game out. A 33.5-minute team fight here where they had gotten NRG to fight them in front of the Baron bait, so they could just fight with a 6,000 gold lead and grow an advantage. We have a replay of that, actually, if we can pull that up here. It's the first Piglet quadra. He got his first 4 kills in the game. When you want to walk me through it?
Yeah, and when I think about the NRG squad here, I think about Poke. We didn't get to even talk about sieging with them because they never got in that situation because of things like this. The TP from Lorlo onto the backline and the completely ignoring impact on the backside. Dive, the peeler, dive what you can of the squishies, and you can see Impact is just like, well, focus me, do something to me, and all of their squishies are down by that point. And Impact's the last one to die again.
Yeah, just absolutely brutal for NRG.
Yeah, the comp got upset. And we saw elements there from NRG. Like, we saw some of the picks come out, whether it was a flash into Chain of Corruption from GBM, whether it was a Cocoon from the wall. Like, these things occasionally happened. There were moments of solid play from NRG, almost exclusively in Game 3, honestly. The rest of the game, they were walked over. But those moments were few and far between. When Liquid got ahead, they took an extra turret. They took 3 extra kills, and they just snowballed the game way too fast.
Yeah, and even when NRG wants to make something happen at one part of the map, TL is actually assessing the worth of it and saying, well, this turret is worth more than us just dying there. And we saw it where Piglet's taking top tier 1. And then the bottom tier 1 doesn't even go down because they put Lorlo there.
Yeah.
So they're not answering appropriately on NRG's side, and TL were able to just continue to trade, just small thing for a much larger advantage, and that just stacked up to the gold leads we were seeing in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact of the matter is when you're that far behind on gold, the picks are very hard to pull off.
Of
I mean,
course.
you look at the end of the game, Piglet was 7,000 gold ahead of Alltech. At that point, it's like, what are you going to do?
So looking forward, TL are going to have to be on their toes against CLG because CLG is another team that has a fantastic early game, and they will punish you if you are out of position, and they trade the same way.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough one to watch for. It's going to be an incredible matchup, though. Both the semifinals going to be a whole hell of a lot of fun. But now we're going to check in with Dash at the analyst desk, who's got an interview with 2 of our winners.
Thank you very much, Freak. I'm here with Lorlo and Dardoch after a crushing 3-0 victory against NRG. As 2 of the newest players to the league, rookies competing in your first best of 5 in the playoffs in the LCS, how does it feel, Lorlo, to come away with such a commanding victory?
It feels really good, honestly. Like, going into it, I was like a bit nervous because it was my first best of 5 ever, but just being able to 3-0 like a playoff team is just really nice to me.
I mean, to that end, Dardoch, I don't know if you yourself had any nerves coming in, but with the 2 weeks of preparation that you guys were allotted, how did the team kind of operate and work in order to calm any of those nerves and give you the confidence to come in and put up such a performance?
Well, we normally prepped really well, even with only 1 week's time during the LCS regular season. But coming with 2 weeks, it like let us get a lot of strategies that we didn't even show that much. Like, we played Gragas. I guess that's pretty meta, but we have like a lot of stuff still left to use, and it just feels really good that, yeah, we didn't have to show that much, and we have so much left.
Now, in particular, we noticed that in the lane swaps, you guys were coming out far ahead. You know, whether or not some of that was attributed to misplays by NRG or capitalization and forces on your guys' side. But above all else, it seemed like tri-lane pushes or triple champion pushes in single lanes was something that you guys worked on. Is that a specific point that you guys worked on in practice to kind of shore up those lane swaps and make sure that you're coming out in the lead?
We had really bad 2v1 at the very beginning of the split, and it lost us a few games at the beginning. But after, I think, like week 2 or 3, our 2v1 was better than everyone else's in scrims. It's just that we play standard also really well because our bot lane is so strong. So we always preferred to go standard, but if we 2v1, we're still really confident that it's better.
Yeah, definitely. We were looking for those 2v2s because it would be fun to watch. Lorlo in the top lane. At the beginning of the day, we kind of went through all the lanes. Which ones are the ones we're looking out for? What are the matchups that are going to swing? We looked at the top and jungle synergy as being a pretty big foothold for both teams, right? If Moon can get impact rolling, we know that guy can carry a game. Likewise, the 2 of you have shown that you can play the 2v2 just as well. So your thoughts in terms of that matchup going in, your confidence level in the 2v2 with Dardoch against Moon and Impact?
So like the 2v2 in general, I think just we're way better overall in the 2v2. I think Josh like matched up to Moon like way better, and me and the Impact, I think after this series it's like about even. So yeah, just going into the 2v2, we were really confident. I had a lot of confidence in Josh going into it.
And the top lane meta is probably the one that within that 2 weeks changed the most, right? We've in Europe, we've seen the Gragas go top lane. We haven't seen it go top lane here yet, but we've got the tank Echo coming out, the Maokai kind of resurging, Poppy still the queen of the top lane. But for you specifically then as an individual, with those 2 weeks, how was it trying to adjust as much as you possibly could to a growing top lane meta, knowing that there was going to be so much focus on it in this series?
Yeah, so going into it, our team is like mainly focused around tank play, so it was like easy for us to adapt to the upcoming meta because we just play more tanks, so it was good for us overall. So yeah, I'm just like, all right, I can pick up Echo, pick up his other champ, just pick up Maokai, it just works out.
Well, there you have it. I actually have to correct myself. Hanser did play Gragas yesterday one time. Regardless, moving ahead, you guys are going to be facing CLG next week because of the fact that TSM won, and they're going to be playing Immortal. So, Dardoch, over to you. I mean, I know there's not necessarily a shortage of confidence coming from the Team Liquid squad, but particularly against the CLG organization, how do you guys think you'll fare in that matchup?
I think we'll be fine. I want to hope for another 3-0, but I'll say 3-1.
3-1. All right. Well, okay. So we're tempering the confidence a little bit. I mean, in particular, too, I actually want to go back to this series. I mean, the performance out of you, we saw everything from the Gragas to the full damage Lee Sin, and that's what I want to zero in on that game. Give me your thoughts on full damage Lee Sin. Was this just a realization that we're running away with the game and more of a mental warfare thing to show them that you could play it?
I mean, my opinion might only be my own, and no one else might agree with me, but I think if you play Lee Sin to maybe 80 or 90% of his like full potential, full damage Lee Sin definitely is like one of the best champions in the game. If you can consistently play team fights well and get multi-man kicks, I think I played him maybe like 60 or 70% at best. Like I didn't even perform that well on the Lee. I played 1 or 2 team fights really well and got like a quad and like a triple or something, but other than that, I think Lee in general is a pretty bad champion, but I just pick him because it's like my signature champion and he's one of my favorites.
Now, lastly, Lorlo, I'm coming back to you to close out the series. I mean, the 3-0 has got to feel good. I want to talk about the veterans on the team a little bit, Phoenix and Piglet. I mean, there's a lot of strong performances from everybody on the team throughout this series, Piglet in particular, and Phoenix being a rock for the team. I mean, CS numbers out the wazoo and showing up in all the team fights. But for you in particular, then, as an individual, as a rookie coming into the series, how did having those guys on the team help you guys kind of push through and make sure that you could take away a 3-0 series?
Yeah, I think personally for me and everyone else on the team, we all just look up to them because like in scrims and like the work environment, they just work really, really hard. They just want to do what's best for the team and just improve the best. So yeah, we just all looked up to them and we just try to improve as well.
All right, well, gentlemen, I got nothing more than congratulations for you after a 3-0 victory against NRG, moving on to the semifinals. So congratulations once again. Best of luck in the next week of practice. We'll see you soon. We're going to head back to the caster desk to recap that series.
Thank you very much, Dash. Guys, what else can you say? Liquid dominated the whole time with a very, very, very good 3-0.
Yeah, 60% on Lee Sin. Really? That was only 60%? 12 kills?
I want to see 100.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if my brain could process 100% on Lee Sin, apparently, because that was insane what he was doing. Those kicks were really on point. And he was talking about how all you have to do is get that really nice kick, full damage Lee Sin. You're killing pretty much everybody on the team. And we saw it when he got that quadra.
I like the players. I think we heard it from, I think it was Rainover as well, I forget, who was like, yeah, I think or maybe it was Rush. It's like, I think Lee Sin is underpowered.
Yeah.
And I'm playing him in the LCS in really important matches. That doesn't line up to me as like the actual like correct decision tree. They like to say it.
I think it's like Lee Sin at a certain baseline.
Sure. Yeah. If you play 5 games of a champion, Lee Sin is down here and like Gragas is up here. Yeah. But when you're like, I have 700 games on Lee Sin, he's weak.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Do you judge a champion in being OP or underpowered by the peak that it can achieve?
Sure.
Or is it the average performance?
Yeah. Well, Dardoch's average performance, top 3 champions in the game. Like, let's be real here, right? If you're going by a per-player basis, Dardoch, that Lee Sin is one of the top 3. All these Lee Sin mains. Yeah, so it's interesting to see his adaptations, his choices. And it wasn't just Dardoch, of course. It was still the rest of the team. He was the flashiest of all of them, so we talk about him a lot. But, I mean, all of Liquid played super, super well.
Yeah, and I mean, coming to the series, honestly, I expected them to win, but I can't say I expected them to win like this. Not at all. And this makes me really excited going forward for the semifinals, and you know, potentially even seeing like, hey, could this guys go all the way? Like, they looked amazing, and if they could kind of bring this level of play to the series against CLG, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
this is the squad to break the curse.
Yeah. Oh no. What's the curse?
The curse is failing to ever win a semifinal.
Okay.
Right? Like,
because I was like, what is it now?
I know
because they finished third the last 2 times.
Only to set up the long con of getting cursed and getting 4th in the qualifier for Worlds, right? So Liquid have never won a semifinal. They've come close so many times. I mean, even back in like season 2, they brought TSM 2-1, almost got the spot, and then lost the 3rd place match against CLG. Right? Like, they continue to do so well, and it's almost the squad here. And this would have been the squad you would have thought didn't do it. Right? They lost Quas. Here comes Lorlo, who was bad on a bad challenger team. like coming into this one.
Yeah.
And he's grown to be. Look, I'm not saying he's like Darshan status where he's like hard carrying games, but like the dude held up against Impact. How many top laners hold up against Impact?
It's a tank meta, so
sure,
I think that it's really hard to actually have a tank take over another tank.
I get that, but like you still have to imagine that like Lorlo came in as a player that you would have thought would get smashed in the LCS, and he's not. He's doing well. He's grown fast. You heard what Piglet said about him in the interview at the very start of it as well. Is like he's grown quickly. He'll do fine, and yes, he did.
And I mean, obviously his team has confidence in him too. If you look how much attention Dardoch showed in that Gragas game, top lane, coming 3 times in a row to actually like get him ahead, right? This is a lane that they're saying they're okay putting this many resources in to getting him ahead, and I don't think you do that if it's a player where you're not confident in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got a lot of jungle attention and was able to use that to good effect. The duo lane, of course, continued to do well, right? Matt leveling up to be at least close to Piglet's level to where they can make that duo lane crush any other NA, and some of that's picking the right champion, some of that finding the right style, but like these players all level up to the point where they smashed an NALCS playoff team and are now like looking good against CLG, looking good to make finals.
Yeah, and I think that this has a lot to do with the coaching staff, right? We have Lokodoko, a veteran there. They also have another coach, David Lim, who's working with the academy squad, but he also works with the main squad. And they have position coaches too, as well as a huge swarm of analysts. So the infrastructure is definitely there for the Liquid squad. And I want to talk about the position coach, because Dominate is position coach for Dardoch, who helped him out a lot with just adjusting there. And Dardoch said that it was really easy because he just looks up to Dominate and was like, this is a great squad for me to be on because I have this guy who's going to help me immediately transition. Because how many times have we seen a rookie come in, not really completely understand lane swaps, not really completely understand where to be on the map and at what time,
right,
and what his role is on the team, and they figured it out at this point.
And the fact that it was so fast was a big deal. I actually think back to a player like Seraph, who had so much hype. Monte Cristo was like, he's like the 4th best top laner in the world when he got picked up by CLG in the very beginning and had a really terrible first season, and now Seraph's super great. And the time it took for him to be that good of a top laner, and Dardoch did it in his first 2 months. Yeah. That growth is incredible. Huge props to Dardoch. Huge props to the rest of Team Liquid. Everyone doing a great job to be at this level now, and we'll see them in the semifinals. But for now, we're going to rejoin Dash and friends at the analyst desk to close out the day.
Friends?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's on!
Yeah.
Thank you, Freak. I
You wanna
agree.
start?
Props all around, though, to Team Liquid. I mean, I think that statement holds true because all 5 of those members stepping up in a big way to have a 3-0 start to their playoff run. That's going to instill them with a lot of confidence moving forward. Before we look ahead, though, let's kind of recap the series real quick. I mean, the big thing here, and I know, Scar, this was a point that you were adamant on, it was the way that Team Liquid operated within the lane swap and immediately following the lane swaps with their rotations into tri-lane pushes was something that they definitely improved on and helped them secure these wins today.
Yeah, I think 2 of the 3 games were just they caught the other team messing up on the 1v2, and then they just executed the next 5 minutes rotationally really well. And NRG was on the back foot the entire time, wasn't able to make plays on the opposite side of the map, and then just got snowballed on.
It did also help that they had such a strong matchup in the mid lane. Every single time Phoenix crushed in the CS, and they have this really strong bottom lane to work with as well with Piglet and Matt down bottom.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the mid lane, even though he gets a big CS lead, like it's hard for me to see just how impactful he is. But at least from the bot lane perspective, I'm looking at the bot lane, I'm just like, wow. Like Piglet's not only smashing them in CS, but he's also getting huge like health leads that are allowing them to push in these towers much faster.
Yeah, and every series, you can kind of isolate it to what's the breaking point going to be. And here, when we identified at the start, it was, well, the breaking point's going to be Moon versus Dardoch. Unless Moon can match or beat Dardoch, they have very little chance. And that matchup broke even further than we thought it was going to. Dardoch absolutely annihilated Moon. And then all the other roles had the same thing happen, whether it was the bot lane or the mid lane, which is why it was such a decisive 3-0.
Now, the one saving grace, though, for NRG, I would have to say, Impact, was doing about all he could in those games to carry through. Unfortunately, it's not enough when the other 4 members aren't stepping up.
His numbers aren't going to show it, but he definitely did a lot of work in team fights.
All right, well, there again, we had the 3-0 for Team Liquid. We had some outstanding performances, rather, today, but only one can be named the player of the series. And today, that player is Piglet. He performed well all split and continued that domination through this series against NRG, earning 2 quadra kills on Lucian in Game 3 alone.
Yeah, this guy is just consistent AD carry, really, and he was consistently great in this whole series.
He was really, really, like, we kept on talking about it, how there would be a small health lead or, an opportunity created in the duo lane because of Matt and Piglet. And then that issue was exacerbated by Dardoch going there. Like, they've already got this lead in the duo lane. Then Dardoch also comes and brings the Moon Dardoch disadvantage over, and Team Liquid really ran with that. So I think that, while Piglet is amazing, Dardoch also deserves a lot of credit here. He was very close in almost getting the award as well.
In case anyone at home is curious, it was not an easy decision to make. Dardoch was definitely in the running. And Scar, I know you would probably like to say a few words about Dardoch as well.
I voted Dardoch, man. I thought the way that they saw it, they were like, Piglet's creating so much pressure that Dardoch can come into the lane easily. The way I saw it was that Dardoch already knows how to path and consistently out-pressures the other jungler. And so it was a difference between whether or not they thought that Piglet managed Altec and their bot lane better than Dardoch managed Moon. And I thought Dardoch managed Moon and had more presence on the map and was more impactful. But however, I do think that Piglet's a monster, and I think that he's playing absurdly well right now. Like I can't wait till the semifinal match.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that all this does is prove that both of these players.
But you can't share.
They performed exceptionally, but no, there is only one most valuable player in a series. Well, now with our quarterfinals complete, let's see how the playoff bracket looks going into next week's semifinals. With dynamic seeding in effect, TSM will be facing Immortals next week, while today's winner, Liquid, will face off against Counter Logic Gaming. So as we look ahead to these best of fives, gentlemen. Let's start with the Immortals TSM matchup. As TSM surprised a lot of people with their adaptation, their ability to take down Cloud9 after a tough first loss. What are your thoughts there?
I think that, maybe Rush didn't look that good on the day that TSM beat them. But Reignover has been looking like a monster. He is the best jungler in North America right now and probably the best player. And if they want a chance at beating Immortals, they have to be playing at his level. And I think that's very, very difficult.
Yeah, definitely agree there. TSM, they've made a lot of improvements, and they're going to be feeling good about themselves, but this is the true test, right? Immortals are the pinnacle of North American professional League of Legends play.
Yeah, a lot of people are wondering if Immortals will transition to a best of 5 from best of 1. Well, they played a best of 18 in the regular season, and they were 17-1. It's obviously not quite the same, but this team lost a single game.
I'm not going to let you get away with that one, Chad.
Weaving some weird words, Soupy.
I am not going to let you get away with that one. When your
best of 30,
when your best of 18 is played against 9 different teams over 9 different weeks, I don't think your argument holds any water.
Also, you only have to win 10 games to win best of 18, right? You don't even have to win 18 games.
So what are the best of 33?
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're done with that conversation. Let's jump over to the other best of 5. Liquid, who we just saw today, going to be going up against CLG. I mean, CLG looking very strong going into the postseason. They had a couple good wins to close it out and grab that playoff bye. What are our thoughts on that matchup, Kobe?
I really am excited to see what comes out from the teams that got buys in the first round.
Okay.
Both CLG and Immortals. You talked about CLG. They were looking really good as they exited the season. Something that Dardoch brought up, they didn't have to use a lot here at Team Liquid in this series, but CLG didn't have to use anything.
Right.
Because they didn't have to play a series at all. And they talked about as well at the end of this, the year how CLG always like to diversify their strategies. Maybe that means adding more split pushers into their split push strategies, but
which is going to be tough.
I'm excited because they've tried a lot of them.
Maokai being a top lane tank,
Exactly.
Echo being a top lane tank. It's going to be really hard for CLG to find the dueling champions for Zion that don't get neutralized by Echo or Malphite.
And it's something that we kind of saw in the Cloud9 series where
Darshan.
If you focus too heavily on split pushing and you even in Champ Select if they ban the strongest pieces out, sometimes it's very detrimental to run still with that strategy and a weaker form of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think CLG is going to come out and surprise people. I don't think they're going to stick to their split push play style. They did it because they were the best in the league at it, and it was pretty effective. Like if you don't know how to deal with split push well, you just win. And it's really, really good because Darshan's shot calls, and he's able to control the top lane aggression with the jungler really, really well. I think, especially in that matchup, I'm really excited to see the jungle matchup. A lot of people were talking up Dardoch quite a bit. No one talks about Xmithie. I think Xmithie at the start of the split was the second best jungler in the NA. I think going into the end of the split, he's still top 3. I think Xmithy is like criminally underrated as a jungler.
I had him top 3 on my all like junglers in NA when I had a stack.
That guy is playing pretty well, and people are going to see it this playoffs.
Well, a solid endorsement for Xmithy there. Of course, it's going to be a tall task for Liquid to stack up against the strong CLG, but if they proved anything today, it's that they are up for the task. We are out of games for this weekend, but you won't have to wait long for more North American League action because we pick right back up on Wednesday with the 2016 LCS Summer Promotion Tournament. Tune in at 5 p.m. Pacific for our first best of 5 as Team Dignitas goes up against Team Dragon Knights. A lot on the line for all of these teams as they move through the Summer Promotion Tournament. Now, before we go, I'd like to extend a special thank you to Scar for joining us on the desk today, providing plenty of insight and disagreeing with us on the MVP vote. But now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Best of 5 starts right now in the North American LCS quarterfinals. Who's going to make top 4?
Liquid is stacking up. I think they're just
Who's here?
gonna win it.
Who's here? Moon's here!
Oh, he steals it!
He's got Baron! You gotta be kidding me!
He's behind us, Marco's behind us.
I'm gonna flash on Lucian. I'm gonna flash on him. Nice.
I can go.
Just end. End to top.
Congratulations, Liquid. Game 1 of this best of 5 goes to them. And this is the play. This is the fight they need. And they've got Phoenix. Now Impact is taking him to the front line, but he is fine to do that. Not low on health. GBM still around.
I go push it, Seven.
Don't listen, Sandra.
Sorry.
Don't buy without me. Okay, kill.
Kill.
Run R. We don't
Don't buy, try and back.
Nice. I'm killing along.
Into the front line goes Lorlo. A triple kill for Dardoch, killing everybody with a quadra kill. He's got one more to go.
If you're NRG, what do you even say after a game like that?
I want you guys to remember that this game, we're not playing, well, we are playing against Team Liquid, but that's not really what matters. Like, you guys are playing against yourself.
Impact turned one back around on a Piglet. Matt still healing, trying to stay alive. Exhaust, the root is on. The fight still happens. Then GBM refuses to take that kill. And yes, here comes Phoenix. He will pick off his fellow Korean.
No, we're chasing.
I can't go there.
Hook and 5.
Out of them now.
I can speed him in 5 seconds.
Out of them now.
He is W.
GBM on the wrong side of this one. Huge damage comes out. A triple for Piglet.
Oh my goodness!
Liquid, from start to finish, were the better team.